After 8 months of suspension of the Abuja-Kaduna train services as a result of the 28th of March terrorist attack, the federal government has now resumed commercial activities on the rail route. The train operations resumed in early hours of the day with the introduction of high-technology machines for verification amidst tight security at the train stations and rail infrastructure to forestall future reoccurrence of attack. Nevertheless, as the Nigerian Railway Corporation (NRC) resumes operation, the federal government is said to have lost so much during the shutdown. Now, what does this resumption mean to stakeholders? What are the security measures in place? What next going forward? What are the fears? How do we hope to conquer the fears? How can the train services be safer, smoother, better, and more efficient across board? These are some questions our guest today shall be providing answers to in a moment. This is Nigeria Today, and our focus is on resumption of Abuja-Kaduna train operations. I am Eucharia Clinton. Welcome to the program. With me to examine the importance of resumption of Abuja-Kaduna train operations is Oyinaya Kalu Oka, transportation correspondent. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Same here.
Okay. Joining us via Zoom is Roland Ataguba, Managing Director, Bethlehem Rail London, Member, Nigerian Railway Corporation Unbundling Committee, and Chairman, Technical Advisory Committee, TAC, on the Nigerian Railway Bill and the National Transport Commission Bill in the House of Representatives. He will be joining us shortly. But let's start with you, Oyinaya. What has it been like in the entire system, in the railway system, since the suspension of operations?
Well, since the suspension of operation after the attack, it's been like a mixed reaction. You know, the workers there have not been really coming because nothing to do. They've just been trickling in. Passengers, of course, will not be there. People who are into business, the cab drivers, those who are into petty trading, everything went down. I spoke to some of them, and like a woman told me, that normally on a normal day when the rail was in operation, she makes like 30,000 a day, just a petty trade. But with no service, nothing happens. She can't do anything, you know. Then, talking about the rail service, there was no movement. The Nigerian Railway Corporation, federal government lost millions of naira due to that. So it was that of a very bad situation, nothing to talk about, nothing to be happy about, while the suspension was on.
Thank you very much. But you've been in this bit for a while now, and today you were there, you know, at the resumption. So what was the mood like?
Well, it was a very happy and excited mood. The passengers were happy. The staff were happy. In fact, Nigerians that witnessed it were happy. Even those who did not, who saw it on the air, they were happy because they've waited for so long. This is about 8 months now. And finally, movement has started. What they've been waiting for, according to them, have finally come. So it was a happy mood at the station.
Okay, thank you very much. And since you were there, I understand there's been a lot of security measures in place. So can you just tell us about it, what the security measures are like, what has been put in place?
Federal government has done so much to make sure that what happened never happened again in terms of security. First of all, the security personnel have been redoubled. Everywhere you go, there are so many security men, uniform, those that are not in uniform, inside the train, on the premises, along the tracks. That's number one. Then a lot of technological devices have been introduced. So to make sure that there's safety. Before you go in, there's safety while on board, and there's safety even while disembarking. In the train, we have CCTV cameras that monitors even outside. Then on the tracks, We have sensors. A driver is going on the train, he can dictate what is happening far off. If there's a foreign body, and he will stop. And there are also people who are in a room that also monitor what is happening if there's a foreign body on the track. Because as you know, the attack happened on the track. And the people who attacked the train came from outside, not from inside the train. But even despite that, federal government is not taking any chance. They are making sure that inside the train, security is very tight. Outside the train, security is very tight. Along the train, as the train is moving, security is very tight. Then besides that, you see sniffer dogs everywhere. You know, you understand, that have been trained to make sure that anybody that is bringing in anything that is foreign, they alert the people who handles them. You understand? Then there are also scanners. The scanners, more scanners have been put to make sure that you don't go in with anything that is dangerous to the passengers. So I would say the security is top notch in that station, in all the stations and on the tracks from Abuja to Kaduna.
Thank you. Now, you talked about security being in top notch and even on the tracks, in the train itself. Did you, by any chance, find out how sustainable these measures will be? You know, it's not just, we know it's been put in place.
Yes.
But then, going forward, is it sustainable?
Very, very sustainable.
Okay.
These measures that are put in place are not just being put there for the fun of it. They're not just being put there so that when they put it there, you say, oh, government has put it. We are dealing with lives. And lives really matters. So this technology and the equipment that have been put in place, and even the personnel that have been drafted there, are now trained specially. You know, is a long period. And that is not even enough. There are still more measures that government has still introduced, which I will not mention here. Some are very sensitive. And all of them are long-term. They are not just something that they just want to do razzmatazz and show Nigerians, oh, Abuja Kaduna train is safe, you can come. Meanwhile, it is not. No, it is serious business. And I am telling you, as a reporter that has been following, that has been going about observing, seeing things, these are serious security measures that are going to have a long-time effective results. By the grace of God.
Okay. I understand from my research, I understand that an adult is required to register not more than 4 minors if the person wants to board. What about someone that has, maybe you have like 6 children that are minors and you want to board this train? What happens in that situation? Did you by chance ask?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Anyway, like you have some people, like some school children. Some people bring their children, schools come for excursion. The way they take care of those. For parents who have more than 4 kids, well, you can have another person who is an adult to also register the other kids if it's more than 4. For now, the condition that has been put in place, 4 kids. If you have more than 4, maybe you get another adult to do that. Perhaps in future, the NLC may consider it. But from what I gathered, for now, 4 kids for an adult. And all those are being done so that, you know, to still take care of security checks. Okay,
thank you very much. Now, in recent interview, the former Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amici, mentioned that the train, the Abuja-Kaduna train makes at least 300 million per month. And now with this suspension, I know, just like you rightly said, that, that the country has lost quite a lot of money, you know. So what do you see? Do you see this kind of the country getting back to that point where they will make, you know, even much more than that money?
Exactly.
No.
Even much more. Even much more. I see that. Because the Abuja, the Kaduna residents, and even other people who follow the train, they love the train. And the services are good. I understand that. And the safety, even not for what happened, but with what has been put in place, it is taken care of. So I believe that the Abuja Kaduna train will make more than that. They will. Because even right now, they are introducing other things that will help them generate more money. They are putting other things which will soon start rolling out. that will help them generate more money, so they will make much more than what they've been making. From ticket revenue, from what people are paying for advert, from what people will pay from the stand that they're using, from advertisement in the stations, billboards and other things, they will definitely make more money.
Okay, thank you very much, Oyinaya. We're still expecting our second guest via Zoom, Roland Atagoba, Managing Director, Bethlehem Rail, London. But meanwhile, before we go on the break, Oyinaya, you are a transportation correspondent. What would you say in terms of replicating these measures, not just in the rail transportation, but what would you say in terms of the road transportation? Because having attacked the train, the road transportation is not exempted.
Yes.
So what would you say in that regard?
Well, I would like to ask you a question.
Okay.
How often do you hear of attacks on the road nowadays, these days? Is it as frequent as it was?
I would rather you
that shows to tell you that government is putting on measures. It's not everything that has to do with security that government has to come and start telling everybody. The most important thing is for Nigerians to see results, isn't it? That's the most important. It's for Nigerians to be safe. So this particular government, as they're doing for the rail, they're also doing for the transport. You understand? They are also doing for the transport. If you remember, the Abuja-Kaduna road was a no-go area virtually every day. Virtually, you will hear one report or the other, either on the social media, people are shouting attack, they are coming, they are doing this. But does that happen like before? No, it doesn't. So that's to tell you that government is taking care of it. Before you will hear that, they have gone to Kaduna, they have attacked. Yes, there are still some trickles of kidnapping, some trickles of attack, but they are arresting them, they are killing them, and this takes planning. This takes measures put in place. It's not just something that they just wake up and say, oh, we are going to. These are also people, because you know these people that are doing this thing are also people who planned too, who also know the way to go about it. They're not just an ordinary person that comes on the road, and they are also serious, sophisticated people. So this takes planning, and government is on top of it, and they are doing it just like they are doing on the road, on the rail. They are also doing it on the road.
Thank you very much, Oyinaya. We're glad to hear that government is on top of their game. I beg your pardon. We will now take a break to return shortly after listening to some Nigerians that had the opportunity to board the train as the passengers on resumption. Please don't go away.
I'm excited to be here this morning.
Okay.
In fact, I was the first passenger at Idu.
Wow.
The first to debut it.
Oh, really?
So I feel so excited. I feel so happy.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad, and we're hoping everything will be smoothly, just like before. We are hoping that event will never happen here in Nigeria.
Using the rail station or the rail is comfortable, it's better. So we've been waiting for this opportunity for the rail to come back with their services, and we are glad we are here today. When I came here this morning, I met some new apparatus on ground, you understand, and they are at the collection ticket point, you present your name, and it was done at utmost speed. There was nothing delay. It was a fast one. And when we got to the entrance, there were some apparatus that they used to check us before we enter. So
it's like every other of my trip. I fly the road often, so I'm a frequent user of the train before the incident happened. So the same way I could go back to the road I abandoned for the train, I'm also back again to the train. So
I'm so happy that at last now in our country we can travel, the way we should, Before it was so disheartening, You have a lot of family issues to attend, you can't attend it, It was too bad. But now I'm happy that, I hope those who were doing it, this thing that happened will be lesson learned to them.
Welcome back. This is Nigeria Today, and we are discussing resumption of Abuja-Kaduna train operations. My guests are still with me, Oyinnaya Kalu Oka, transportation correspondent, and joining me via Zoom, we have Roland Atagoba, Managing Director, Bethlehem Rail London, and member Nigerian Railway Corporation Unbundling Committee. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Roland.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Roland, you heard when I introduced we are talking about the resumption of Kaduna, the Abuja-Kaduna train operations. And I've been talking to my guests here in the studio, and they talked about a lot of measures that have been put in place. So I want to ask, how can we sustain these measures that have been put in place to ensure security of lives and property on our railways?
That's very interesting. Well, thank you for the question. It's a very interesting question you ask. I think there are two elements in terms of security to consider here. One, I'm probably not the best person to speak on security matters, because I reckon that there are people with far greater knowledge and expertise. But notwithstanding, as a user and an interested person, I think there are two dimensions to the security interventions we have seen, or certainly that we can observe. One is in terms of the passenger identification process, because I think it was a huge embarrassment after the March 28th incident, where the manifests that were produced were somehow incredible and were not believed, so to speak. And I think that some of these measures regarding identification of passengers before they come board have been put in place to check that. Now, the other matter, which is far more sensitive, is the cause of the incident itself, which had to do with external attack from outside the train. Now, we don't have any information about what measures have been put in place, and really we wouldn't expect to know. But what we would expect, certainly, is that these measures would be effective, and that passengers would certainly, and the service would certainly travel with confidence. And I think that's what's most important here.
Thank you very much. And again, I want to ask, Mr. Roland, you've been in the rail system. Even from London, you are the MD, Bethlehem Rail London, and you've been a member of the Nigerian Railway Unbundling Committee. Now I want to, from your experience in London, what are these things that Nigeria should learn, should learn from the London rail system? What can you tell us about the rail system in London, and what can we learn from that to replicate here in our country?
Well, there are lots of things. One, we need to reform our railway system. I've been talking about this till the cows come home. It's something we're failing to do, and it is one of the reasons. In fact, I can give you another illustration. It's taken us 8 months to recover services since the incident. Now, if this was a private business, it would have gone bust. Certainly, no business can endure that level of closure. And that is a reflection on how public services are delivered still. We need to reform and restructure our railway environment. The UK did that a long time ago. And this is reflective in the sort of throughput and the outputs we get from our railway systems. And it's about time that we did that. We've done it in power, we've done it in telecoms. I don't know why it is that we're finding it so difficult to do it in railway.
Thank you very much. Now, Oyinaya, you heard what he said about, you know, trying what we can do to make Nigeria railway system better. Now, I want to, in your years of covering the transportation system, being a transportation correspondent, did you, by any chance, find out if these measures that are put in place will be replicated in other rail stations, apart from the Abuja, Kaduna
Are you talking
rail
about
system?
the security measures?
Both the security measures and the customer profiling and the rest of them that they are putting, is it just restricted to Abuja,
It is
Kaduna?
not restricted.
Okay.
It's just that Abuja is most affected, and you know what happened in Abuja, so they have to pay attention to Abuja first. But they are still going to replicate it in Lagos, Ibadan, it's a worry. You know, and even the narrow gauge that are still operating. So it's going to be an all-encompassing measures that will be put across the country. It's not only restricted to Abuja, Kaduna. It is not.
Okay. So, well, thank you very much. And Mr. Roland, apart from what you said, you've been to Nigeria, you've seen our system. What more do you think we can do to make it better?
Lots of things we can do.
To make it better?
I beg your pardon?
What more can we do to make it better? From your
Well,
own...
again, yes, but as I explained to you, fundamentally, we need to reform the way we deliver railway services. Now, that's not a one-line item. That's a whole revolution in terms of the way services are delivered. And you can see a lot that will flow from that in terms of employment, in terms of the economics of railway delivery and the transportation system as a whole. Right now, we've got railways being provided by, call it a government agency. You need a whole business, a whole industry evolving out of that. And unfortunately, the way we're operating right now limits our capacity in delivering that industry that's required to transform our transportation system. Right now, 99% of traffic is on the roads. You know, we need intermodality. We need further integration because the roads need railway to work. So you can move heavier goods and freight on the tracks and leave passengers to travel more comfortably and safely on roads. That's a whole fundamental departure from the way we're doing things right now. And it's important that we do that.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Roland. And Oyinaya, one word for Nigerians, having seen what is going on. So what would you say to Nigerians?
Well, before I will say what I have for Nigerians, I think Mr. Roland should commend this administration. Because in the space of 7 years, 3 huge gigantic projects, real projects have been completed. In the space of 7 years, the Abuja Kaduna, the Itapiwari 4, not even 3, the Itapiwari, the Lagos Ibadan, then the Abuja Light Rail. So what kind of reform is he talking about? The government is trying and they are going about the reform, and it is a steady reform and a consistent reform. Well, what I have to tell Nigerians is that Abuja Kaduna Rail is safe. They can come, they can board, and they should be sure of their safety. And they should also cooperate with the management to make sure that they are giving the best. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. And that's it on Nigeria Today. But before we go, we'll want to thank our guests. We do appreciate your input on the program. Mr. Roland Ataguba, Managing Director, Bethlehem Rail London, and member, Nigerian Railway Corporation, Unbottling Committee, and Oyinaya Kalo Oka, Transportation Correspondent. Thank you so much for coming. And thank you, Mr. Roland, for coming. And to our viewer, thank you for keeping a date with us on Nigeria Today. The program is aired every weekday 7:30 in the evening on NTA News 24. And you can watch these and other episodes on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. Once again, thank you for watching.